On this edition of Oxford News this week, Oxford says goodbye to a community leader, and there's a new superintendent on the board's helm, and let's go bowling. That and more on this edition of Oxford News this week. On Wednesday evening, community members and colleagues paid tribute to the Oxford Fire Chief Pete Schultz, who will retire on December 31st after 47 years of service and sacrifice. The Oxford Township Board of Trustees voted 7-0 to approve a resolution honoring the chief, thanking him for his service. Oakland County Commissioner Michael Spiz was on scene. An Oxford resident read the township resolution into the record. He was then presented, Chief Schultz, with a proclamation approved by the County and Board of Commissioners. Schultz joined the fire department as a paid on-call member back in February 9th of 1976, 5 years after he graduated from Oxford High School. Over the years, he rose through the ranks, serving as captain, assistant chief, deputy chief. He took over as chief in November of 2008. Brandon Township Fire Chief David Kawapis stepped forward to say some good words and praise for his fellow chief. Congratulations, Chief Schultz. Oxford will miss your leadership and your compassion. The chief garnered enough respect from his peers to even see a Detroit television station crew make its way up 30 miles up the road. Again, they also would like to thank WXYZ TV, Channel 7 News for being here to honor the chief. Again, Fire Chief Schultz has had a 47-year career in Oxford, and again, he will be missed, and we do salute him. For the first time since November 30th, 2021, since the school shooting, an outsider will take the helm of the Oxford's Community School Board as it navigates its 3-year recovery plan and defends itself against multiple civil lawsuits. Stemming from the attack, Oxford Community Schools hired Vicki L. Markovich, who will become the new interim superintendent for less than 6 months as it works to rebuild the trust in the community and implement a recovery plan with a beefed-up security plan as of 2021, ever since the shooting of last year. The former superintendent of the Oakland Schools Immediate District from 2004 to 2015, Markovich was hired Tuesday by the Board of Education at its regular meeting. She does start on January 9th. Markovich said she would earn $800 a day and would receive a $2,500 stipend for housing allowance because she currently lives on the southwest side of the state. Markovich attended Tuesday's meeting and said she was delighted to be pulled out of retirement for the new post, in which she will serve for 6 months. She was able to watch a program recognizing students for academic and athletic achievements. Markovich said she believes the school board will conduct a spring search for a more permanent superintendent. The board approved the contract 6-0. Markovich replaces interim superintendent Anita Anjo Collins, who was appointed to that post after the sudden retirement of Oxford Community School Superintendent Ken Weaver. Was announced on November 22nd. Collins was an assistant superintendent of the elementary instruction before she was appointed. Interim Superintendent Weaver said he has been placed on a medical leave through next year. Weaver, who has not been at the last 2 school board meetings, said his medical leave begins on Wednesday. The resignation for February 21st, 2023. Weaver did have a 19-year district employee. He will continue to participate in the district's independent review of the November 30th shooting and attack by Guidepost Solutions, any responsibility he has in the legal proceedings as well. Apollo has landed. Apollo, a 12-year-old Siberian Husky, stopped by the township office to get his dog license. He was nice enough to bring his human friend along with him. Oxford Township resident Brenda Kemp with him. Brenda adopted Apollo from the Oxford-based K9 Stray Rescue League 11 years ago. Dog licenses are available at the Oxford Township Treasurer's Counter through June 1st. For more information, again, you can log onto their website, www.oxfordtownship.org/treasurer. Whether gliding down a snowy sledding hill, enjoying a brisk walk on the trail, or taking your favorite furry friend to the dog park. Oakland County Parks and Rec, OCPR, are quite magical in the winter. Being among nature, you can help lift spirits, contribute to better mental health. It offers endless opportunities for fitness and exercise during the Oakland County Parks and Rec Appreciation Day on December 24th. Visitors can enjoy free daily park entry and access to natural areas, trails, dog parks, fishing spots, playgrounds, park amenities at Addison County Park, Independence Oaks County Park, Orion Oaks County Park, Orion Oaks Dog Park. Park hours are 30 minutes before sunrise to 30 minutes after sunset, as it's posted at each park. The purpose of Shop with a Hero is simple: to provide a great Christmas for the kids for young kids. On December 6th, 4 kids from the Brandon Township got a chance to join the Brandon Fire Department. Members of the Oxford Meijer to shop for Christmas presents. The event was sponsored by Meijer. They provided $300, which the Brandon Firefighters Foundation matched to each kid, had $150 to spend. This year, the Brandon Fire Department shopped with a 6-year-old boy, a 10-year-old boy, a 13-year-old boy, and an 11-year-old girl. Everybody had a good time picking out some Christmas gifts. So what do you do after a 30-year career as a graphic artist in Metro Detroit? If you, the Oxford resident Jeff Morrison, who's now 62, you start another career in which you lead to publish your first 322-page book and follow up with a 466-page hardcover book. Guardians of Michigan, Architectural Sculpture of the Pleasant Peninsulas, just published by the University of Michigan Press, features over 1,200 photos of sculpture found all over the area, 360 structures from more than 100 towns throughout Michigan, including architectural sculptures from Oxford, Orion, and Clarkston. He has enough photos to start a project of 3 or 4 buildings, and then he would back and took more photographs of the architectural sculpture. The Guardians of the Detroit, a 322-page book, was released back in the spring of 2019. It sold out its first 2 printings, he said. It's on the 3rd print run as he finished up the Guardians of Detroit. He started to work on the Guardians of Michigan project. Morrison said he decides which photos to use, how to crop them, and then first laying the photos on pages in the Photoshop, and then finishes each page up with a computer program called InDesign. The farthest away he has traveled for these projects would be Wakefield in Michigan, the Upper Peninsula, and the closest sculptures are actually here in our own town, the Oxford Savings Bank and the Scripps Monastery in Orion. From the Columbry Center in Clarkston. Currently, Morrison has speaking engagements throughout the state promoting his book. He is working on another book about buildings in Ohio to be published by the University of Ohio. Morrison is no stranger to Oxford, having spent most of his life here. His folks moved their family to Oxford when he was in the 4th grade. He graduated from the Oxford High School in 1977. His father, Roger, was an elementary teacher at Daniel Oxford School. All 3 and his wife, children, also graduated from Oxford High School. He reminds people when they are walking in towns to look up, because you'll never know what you might see. For more information about the Guardians of Michigan, go to the website, guardiansofmichigan.com. On February 8th, he will give a presentation at the Oxford Public Library on the influence of Native American culture on Michigan architectural sculpture. Allie, Bean, Oscar, Santo. Are they just names? No, they're 4-footed creatures with fur, fangs, claws, and they prowl the hallways of the classrooms of Oxford High School and middle school. And as one of the most students and staff say, it's a good thing. The Oxford Wildcat Pack includes 12 certified facility therapy dogs in full. However, 4 dogs are working full-time at the secondary level. 3 dogs are placed in the elementary buildings as they continue their training. 5 dogs are expected to come home this spring. These dogs have been making smiles every time they wag their tails. The therapy dog program grew out of the school's district crisis recovery plan. That, again, was all part of the November 30th shooting and the tragedy that took place there. Therapy dogs here and across the nation have provided students and staff with comfort and support. They reduce stress, provide a sense of connection in difficult situations. According to the Oxford Middle School counselor and district lead primary handler Caitlin Malberg, the Oxford Wildcat Pack is the goal to help create and maintain a comfortable, safe, happy environment. The Oxford Wildcat Pack attend school every day. The dogs greet the students and the staff in the hallways, visit classrooms, assist students who may need extra support, and attend school and community events. Sounds like a great cause these little puppies are doing, right? With that, I'll take a slight break. Dave Kenny will be back with Science in the News and some other things. I do believe I have some sports. We'll do that. We'll be back in a moment. You are watching Oxford Community Television.
Good morning. I'm Connie Miller from Free Meals. You probably all know that by now because I've come to you often enough, but I'm back again. You can see from the picture behind me, that's what our pantry shelves looked like last night after service. We started service in pretty good shape, you know, low on a couple things, but we're empty now, which means I'm going grocery shopping as soon as I leave here. We continue to need help from the community. Cash donations, grocery donations. I think maybe some people are curious as to who is receiving this service from the team. They're your neighbors. No one knows what goes on in the house next door, but I know a lot of these people. And initially, a lot of these people were embarrassed when they pulled up because they've known me for 30 years. They live next door to us. They live down the street. It's not all senior citizens and homeless people. Matter of fact, that makes up a very small percentage of the people that we serve. These are families with children, and it's getting worse for them every week. Trying to make their bills. They work, they have jobs. Most everyone's gone back to work of some sort, whether working from home or back to an outside position. Nobody's slacking here. That term was used yesterday by a gentleman at Meijer when he saw that I was buying a lot of milk and eggs. He referred to those people as slackers. Well, they're not. They're trying really hard, and they are reluctantly accepting help, asking for help. And they're very, very grateful. But we're almost 3 years into this now, and things are just continuing to get worse. So I need help in every way. As I said, I need groceries. I need cash donations to buy groceries. I need people to help with the cooking. I need volunteers. I would love it if somebody said, hey, I'll go grocery shopping for you. Give me a list, and I'll bring it back to the church for you. Or when are you stocking the shelves? I'll come and do that. When I have somebody on vacation, like I do right now, who generally runs the pantry, I'm doing all of that, in addition to the other things I do. And I'm not complaining, but there's plenty of opportunity here to help. To the parents, this is a good time to teach your kids. Teach them that there are people out there just like them that are going through a tough time, and they can help. They can show up, if for nothing else, than to smile and wave at people on Wednesday nights. It's amazing how far that will go. We love to have the kids come. We also, if the kids need service hours, or if you know someone who's had perhaps some legal issues and they need service hours, by all means call me, 248-933-4579. That might as well be on a billboard around town, but we just simply need your help. I hate having to keep coming back and asking. We had really hoped that this thing would be over by now, or would at least be better. But it's not, and now we're moving into winter months and the holidays. If you can't put food on the table, you're not buying Christmas presents. For myself, my husband and I are not buying Christmas presents this year. That money goes to other places. It goes to Free Meals. And, you know, it's hard to deny yourself, but maybe think about this. If you're going to have a child and you're going to buy them 10 gifts, buy them 9 and give me the difference. I can make it go really far. So we're heading into Thanksgiving, where we will be serving a turkey dinner. Could really use some help that day with the cooking and with the packing and everything else. Face it, we could use help all the time. We've got a big team of people, but not everybody can make it every week. And some people are frankly getting burnt out, and I can understand that. On a side note, last year we were chosen to be the Grand Marshals for the Christmas parade. We were thrilled, but there was no Christmas parade. So we were asked to be the Grand Marshals for this year's Christmas parade. So if you have ever volunteered or donated to Free Meals, if you're still on the team, whatever your connection is, we would love for you to join us in the parade. We will be leading the parade, and we'll have our banners, and we will walk and shine a light on all the good work that all of you have done. Even if it's something small, it's appreciated. So consider that. We'll line up at the corner of Crawford and Mechanic at about 12:30 on the first Saturday in December, and you are all more than welcome. So think about that. And you can bring groceries with you, or you can bring cash with you. Going forward, just please think of us. Think of what we're doing, and this isn't for us, it's for our neighbors. And some of those same people that come and get food and groceries and such, return and volunteer. They feel like they have to pay it back. Well, they don't, but we certainly welcome them. I have several people right now serving that come to get food because they need it. So there's really no rules or guidelines. You don't have to give me your ID to get food, and you don't have to tell me why you're there. Just come and be there. And tell your friends. You know, it'd be a great holiday thing. Have a food drive in your neighborhood, you know, or amongst your clubs, or these various group chats. I mean, there's so many ways people are in touch with large groups of people these days. Help me get the word out. Again, my number is 248-933-4579, and we will be including a list of the groceries that we carry on a regular basis as part of this. I'd like to thank Terry and OCTV and my wizard Kyle for helping me, again, using their facilities to put this together so I can get the word out to you quickly. Thank you all.
Welcome to this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from Automotive News. In our first story, Stellantis says it's recalling 1.4 million pickups worldwide because tailgates might not latch properly and could open while driving. The automaker said the recall covers various 2019 through 2022 model year Ram 1500, 2500, and 3500 trucks. The company said it has no reports of crashes or injuries, but more than 800 warranty claims and other reports potentially related to the issue. Dealers will inspect the tailgate striker alignment to the box latch and adjust it if necessary, the company said. The recall includes more than 1.23 million vehicles in the U.S., 120,000 in Canada, 26,000 in Mexico, and about 27,000 outside North America. Owner notification letters will be mailed in late January. The U.S. National Highway Traffic Safety Administration said the unintended tailgate opening while driving could result in a loss of unsecured cargo, potentially creating a road hazard and increasing the risk of a crash. The automaker opened an internal investigation into the issue in July of 2021, and the company said it's continuously monitored field data for potentially related incidents. In our next story, Volkswagen said it will invest $482 million in its Wolfsburg plant to add production of its ID.3 full electric compact hatchback and a new Tiguan-sized electric crossover. The crossover will use a further development of the automaker's MEB electric platform called MEB Plus, enabling faster charging speeds and longer ranges, VW brand CEO Thomas Schaefer said. The crossover complements VW's existing ID.4 and ID.5 electric crossover, Schaefer said in a statement on December 7th. It will use the automaker's highly standardized unified cell that will be produced in VW's cell factory in Salzgitter starting in 2025. VW did not give a timescale for production of the new EV. Its MEB Plus platform will enable ranges of up to 435 miles and significantly improve charging times with charging speeds of 175, that is, to 200 kilowatts possible, VW has said. To improve capacity use at the Wolfsburg factory, VW will add ID.3 output to Wolfsburg. Partial production of the ID.3 will start next year, with full production slated from 2024. The car will also continue to be built in VW's Zwickau plant in Germany. The Wolfsburg plant employs about 60,000 workers building combustion engine models, including the Golf, Tiguan, and Touran. Output from the flagship plant has been on a downward spiral since 2015, when it produced around 800,000 vehicles, dropping drastically since the start of the coronavirus pandemic to under 400,000 a year. VW confirmed it is still planning to build an electric flagship with advanced self-driving features under its Trinity project, based on the SSP software-led platform that is under development. The automaker will decide by February whether to produce Trinity cars at the Wolfsburg plant or build a new factory for the model close by. Well, That's it for this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television.
There are those who dedicate themselves to a sense of honor, to a life of courage, and a commitment to something greater than themselves. They have always defended this nation and each other. They still do. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Last week, the Oxford School and the boys and girls bowling teams started their 2022-23 season. Last Wednesday, the Wildcat boys varsity and JV bowling teams traveled to the luxury lanes in Ferndale to defeat the Eagles. The varsity boys wasted no time jumping on the young Ferndale team. With at least 3 strikes, they cruised to a 200-141 victory in that game. Of the Baker games, Oxford also claimed a victory in Game 2 with a 193-165. The team continued to bowl well and head up play. Game 1 saw the Cats win 1059-805. In Game 2, 1027-930. The match final score was 28.5 to 1.5. Leading the way to the Wildcats was junior Jacob Chenard and senior Tommy Mace. Jacob had games at 202, 235, while Mace had games at 190 and 246. All the Wildcats bowled well. Senior Jason Paslin had a 200, senior Cam Lanzi 212 and 202, sophomore Tegan Neal 199 and 216, sophomore Jake Kemeth scored a victory at 184. Again, we want to get all these in. The JV team also won their match 28-2, making it a sweep for the Wildcats. The Wildcat varsity boys and girls also hosted the Oakland A Association OAA Singles Championship on December 5th. That took place at Collier Lanes. Oxford was pitted against the OAA varsity bowlers against each other. There were 76 boys, 48 girls who competed for the title. After the 3-game qualifying block, Oxford found itself well represented in the finals. 3 boys bowled into the top 8. Jacob again led the way, bowling at games at 213, 254, and 194 to earn the number 1 slot. Also qualifying for the boys was Jake Kemeth, who had 631 series, Cam Lancy, who had a 593, and both Jake and Jacob would win their round at 8. Matchups to advance to the Final 4 that were Kemeth had an exciting match versus Noah Rouse of Troy. Kemeth shot a 245 versus Rouse's 239. That advanced Jake into the finals. Again, they also, Reese Coldwell of Lake Orion was involved as well. Finals went right down to the 10th frame of the Coldwell, pulled out the victory at 183-178, a narrow victory. The Lady Bowlers from Oxford were represented as well for the Final 8, who qualified for wearing blue and gold of Oxford. Macy Strevel was the high qualifier, the Oxford with a 522. She followed Caroline Martinez, 514, Kylie Penzian, 500, Tessa Bank, 494, my apology. Penzi and Martinez would also both have their 3rd round in the 8th match of the finals. Again, the Wildcat bowling season is underway, and definitely looking forward to what they can do. We want to congratulate them. Of course, the coach for the Oxford bowling team, Claude Laffner, the Oxford football broadcaster, is also the coach of the bowling team. In Oxford hoops this past week, Oxford dropped only one of the 3-game series against Birmingham Groves. Freshmen picked up a win, 59-50. Junior varsity, they gained a win as well with their score 59-57. However, the varsity showed a loss at 64-54. In the varsity game, to add some light at the end of the tunnel, we had a high scorer again. Jake Champagne had 25 as he chipped in. Oxford boys were in the natatorium for the swim and dive. They showed a victory at 109-71. That took place again in the natatorium. They beat Troy Athens as they did do their swim meet. And we mentioned it last week, going to mention it once again. I know we have a few pictures here. See my Diane Hughes of Oxford, 81-year-old Diane Hughes, and again, she said I could say her age. Her dog Becky achieved the highest degree of honor, gaining a utility degree in the obedience. She worked hard at attaining the honor. Cheering squad would be James Hughes and Cooper the dog was there, while Becky and my mom Diane Hughes gained that award. Again, those are my parents, shall I say, and their dogs were all there getting all the accolades. Shall I say their family members were there. Again, we want to congratulate them. That's going to wrap it in sports. I'll be back to say goodbye. I believe Dave Kenny might have one more segment. We'll be back in a moment.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and this story is taken from New Scientist. Engineers could measure the health of bridges using data from smartphones, which could allow us to add up to 15 years to the usable lifetimes of these structures. Most bridges are assessed using visual inspections, which can be a time-intensive process. Alternatively, mounted sensors can detect vibrations called modal frequencies, which are tied to the bridge's physical characteristics and can be used to assess its health, but it would be expensive to put these on all bridges. Now, Thomas Matarazzo at the United States Military Academy at West Point and his colleagues have developed a system to measure modal frequencies and so monitor bridge health by using the movement data from phones. We don't have to purchase any additional or special sensors to be able to collect the data that we need at the scale, said Matarazzo. To do this, the researchers collected data in an app from phones as they were taken over the bridges. They used GPS location data and information from the phone's accelerometers, which can reveal any tiny movements the phone makes. The study was divided into 3 parts. In the first, the researchers mounted 2 iPhones in their cars and drove over the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco a total of about 100 times. In the second, they took data from Uber drivers completing more than 70 trips over the Golden Gate Bridge as part of their day-to-day work. The researchers also used data from about 250 trips with Android smartphones over a short concrete bridge in Ciampino, Italy, which is more representative of bridges in the U.S. All 3 data sets had varying levels of supervision, from the carefully controlled Golden Gate Bridge trips to the essentially uncontrolled Uber trips. Matarazzo and his team found that they could measure the bridge's modal frequencies from any of the data sets to within 3% of the readings taken by highly accurate static sensors. This is really monumental because it means that you can use low-cost, pre-existing data sets to estimate these important dynamic properties, says Matarazzo, and it should work with existing data sets from taxi apps like Uber. However, the smartphone data would probably need to be supplemented with human inspection in some cases. Matarazzo says you could use this method on thousands of bridges and only send someone to monitor the ones that need it. Given the ubiquity of mobile phone data, the researchers estimate that their method could add more than 2 years of extra service to an old bridge and nearly 15 years of service to a new bridge by applying maintenance at the right time in a bridge's lifetime. Well, that's it for this edition of Science in the News. I'm Dave Kinney, and have a very Merry Christmas.
And we're about to conclude this edition as we get so close to the end of the year. OCTV here can be viewed on Spectrum Charter Channel 191, Channel 99 at AT&T U verse as well. Also, we have a YouTube channel that you can watch at your leisure. Rumble and Facebook folks can even download that app. Again, watch OCTV programming at all these different platforms. OCTV is also available for local groups for producing public service announcements. If you may have a show idea, want to volunteer, give our office a call. Our office number is 248-628-9658. Want to thank producer, director Kyle Snage, videographer Al Campbell, editor Kyle Snage, program coordinator Dan Zweiss, program director Connie Miller, station manager Terry Stiles. For everyone here at OCTV, I'm Jim Hughes, hoping you have a safe week, and I invite you back next week. And again, we will take a look at Oxford News this week.